Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing great today. Monday, first day of the week. And so back to work for a lot of people. For the Dukester, he worked all weekend. And you know what? Work is work. Unfortunately, when you work the weekends, you do kind of miss out on a lot of the sports action that goes out on the weekend, but that's okay. One thing is for sure is that sports is an ongoing thing and the news never stops no matter what the case may be. So today I just want to briefly talk a little bit about the NHL restricted free agency. And you know what? I'm not going to pretend like I know everything there is to know about this. I'm actually learning a lot of stuff here lately, following a couple other channels, one called The Hockey Guy and the other one called Hands Down Hockey. Both real down-to-earth guys, kind of like us here at the Sunday Night Sports Guys. We're not renowned for anything that we do. We just love coming on and talking about sports, right? And hopefully that becomes relatable to a lot of you who are watching from a perspective that just everyday Joes have, right? And we have a lot of fun with that. So the restricted free agency kind of cracked open a bit this weekend, obviously with the Mitch Marner signing, as we had talked about a little bit last week. Won't get too much into the detail of this because we are going to talk about a lot of this tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Mountain on the Sunday Night Sports Guys show, in which we will cover week 2 of the National Football League. Also take a look at the baseball pennant races that are going on. I know it's kind of tough when your team is out of it. You don't have as much interest as you do when your team is in it. But nonetheless, we still should be keeping tabs on what's happening. We have Yankee fans out there. We have Dodger fans, maybe. We have fans of other teams. So we should be fair to them and keep that in the midst, as well as we're going to talk about the NHL and this whole restricted free agency thing. And, if you haven't really gotten into it, which is something that I hadn't before, but because our platform here wants to, involve all sports, it's important to get a little educated on how this all works. So I'm finding those other channels very helpful in learning about what restricted free agency actually means, who qualifies, who doesn't, long-term contracts as to short-term contracts. It's a very complex collective bargaining agreement that they have for how this all works. One of the things I would say off the top of my head and looking at what I've learned so far, it seems to reward players, when they are performing young in their contracts. As we know in most sports years ago, even still today, a lot of guys end up getting paid mostly on performance with the hopes that they're going to, keep it going. But the trend seems to be happening definitely in hockey. And it may well be starting to happen more and more in other sports, where young guys who come out of the gate in their first 2 or 3, their entry level contract, I think it's called. Again, I'm learning all the terminology and the language of this. Their entry level contract expires, which is comparable to, what's it called in baseball? I forget off the top of my head, but arbitration years. Yeah, they're arbitration years. So I think it's kind of similar to that. But these guys seem to be getting paid, and it has an effect as to the cap hit that happens to teams. Now, one of interest, obviously, with myself being a Bruins fan, was the signing of Charlie McAvoy on the weekend. And actually, it kind of worked out pretty good for both parties. The Bruins right now have a window of opportunity to try to repeat, their trip to the Stanley Cup final, and hopefully get that final game is the one that matters the most. And it did kind of work out. And I'm really impressed with the way, Don Sweeney has gone about things, because I know when he was named general manager of the Bruins after Chiarelli was fired, I wasn't a big Sweeney guy. I don't know. I likened him to be an owner's guy. Jeremy Jacobs, over the years, been very tight with money, with purse strings and stuff like that. Got better. Obviously, because they ended up winning the Stanley Cup in 2011 and making 2 more appearances. So they've had to spend some money in order to, have that kind of success. But still, he's just kind of identified him with the Jacobs crowd. But you know what? Sweeney's doing a good job. Smart moves. I'm not sure about having Chara back for another year. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I get the point of it. He was cheap. He's still experienced, but it's going to be how they manage his minutes. And to me, I don't know, having your captain reduced to 15, 16 minutes a game, which I think is all we can really look at from Chara early on in the season, with the hopes that you don't overplay him and that he has gas in the tank towards the end of the year and for the playoff run, especially for the playoff run, because that's where it gets really, tedious playing as many games as they do in a short period of time if you go the distance in that. So, but the RFA situation broke itself a little bit open. Had been pretty much a stalemate for a long time there. Again, with the Marner signing, and now we have McAvoy yesterday signing. So now for Boston, it would be the case of Carlo getting him done and signed into camp. And there are some other notable ones out there. Braden Point with Tampa Bay, which we should see signing pretty soon. But the whole thing is learning about how this all really works, because it's easy to just make a comment about a sport, make comments about contracts. But if we don't really understand how the language works and how the whole system flies, then, it's unfair to make some of the comments that we make. So we're learning about that. And hopefully we're going to talk about this. Well, we will be talking about this a bit more in depth tomorrow night on the Sunday Night Sports Guys. This is T-Mac's specialty. He's our big hockey guy, so I'm hoping he's going to know a bit more. But I'm doing my homework to try to find out more about this as we go along. So anyway, that's my daily for today. If you happen to be coming across this channel for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. Would really like to have you on board. Duke's Daily is just something that I do myself. The bigger picture is the Sunday Night Sports Guys, where me and my two friends come on here once a week and we cover what's going on in sports. But, seeing as we're into the NFL season, we definitely do every week's NFL wrap up and look towards the following week. And we're still hoping that we can do a NHL preview show. A lot of this hinders on work schedules and personal schedules. And with my work, it seems like my calendar is fluctuating around. But that's kind of what happens when you're new to a new place of employment. You have to take what they give you. But we will let you guys know as things are developing well in advance, so you can plan to, share along with us. We really appreciate everybody's support. We also are on Twitter now at Night Guys. Tried to get it to have Sunday Night Sports Guys, but I don't know why it will in the tech part of it. But that's what it's going to be. So, okay, guys, have yourself a great day, and we will see you again tomorrow, Top 10 Tuesday. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about something of top 10, and we'll leave it as a little bit of a surprise for tomorrow. So everybody have yourselves a great day, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.